Peace and wellness, family. I hope that y'all can hear me well. I hope that everybody is happy and whole and all that good stuff. Listen, y'all, I don't plan to be before you long. I wanted to come to talk about this autumn equinox that we have coming up on September 23rd at 9:50 at 2:50 a.m. Eastern Time. With this autumn equinox, it's going to give us a great opportunity to find some balance and some harmony in our lives. So, my intention for this video is to identify the meaning of the autumn equinox, how it may impact our energy, and what are some things that we can do to utilize this energy for our wellness. It's also the start of Libra season. So, shout out to all the Libras, and we'll get into all that. Hey, wellness community, I see y'all. Peace, y'all. Y'all so dope. I love y'all. So much butterflies in the sky. Hey. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. So this is the thing, right? When we talk about this autumn equinox energy, first let's talk about the equinox. So the equinox is the time where the sun appears directly on the equator. The sun is crossing from the north to the south, or if you are in the southern hemisphere, from the south to the north. So what's happening is the sun will appear directly on the equator, and that can cause us to have things like equal days and equal nights. So 12 hours in the day and 12 hours in the night, where usually during the summer we're accustomed to having longer days and shorter nights. Our days will start to feel much shorter. The nights will start to feel much longer. But in actuality, it's all about the energy of balance. It'll be balance and harmony between both. Now, it's also important to keep in mind that during this autumn equinox energy, a lot of us will feel the desire to like purge and release and let things go because things start to slow down in our environment, in nature. Growth starts to slow down. They even consider this the last harvest season. It's the last opportunity for folks to get their harvest, to get the last of their things going on before the ground freezes over during the winter, right? So this is a great time for us to take the opportunity to really reflect on our abundance that we have received throughout this year from the previous seasons. It's a great opportunity for us to kind of just like sit in gratitude, in joy, and peace. Okay. So, with this autumn equinox energy, don't be surprised if you find yourself feeling very introspective. This is not necessarily a communal time. Okay. This is not a time where a lot of folks are going to be desiring to be out and about and to be around a lot of people. A lot of folks are going to start to just naturally go into reclusion during this time. Okay. A lot of folks are going to naturally start to kind of just like be to themselves and really want to be like internal inside the house. And again, just a lot of introspection, a lot of self-reflection. So if you've been feeling that way a lot lately, this is the time. But I do want to say, enjoy the last little bits of the summer, okay? Enjoy the last few sunny days. I know here in New York, we are already hitting that like mid 70s, 75, 76, which I love. This is my type of weather, okay? I am an autumn fall girl. I am a winter girly even. I love the good cold weather. I like to feel cozy. I love feeling cozy. So anytime I can throw on a nice little sweater or a cardigan and some layers, a little scarf and a wrap up, I just love it. But for all my summer folks, really start to just like enjoy these last few days of good, hot, warm weather, and really just get your little outside community time in before you really get into that energy of being indoors. And again, just being more reclusive, desiring a bit of like stillness, because that's what's happening now. Again, things are slowing down a bit in nature as well as within ourselves. So a lot of us will be desiring a lot more stillness, which is a beautiful thing. Okay, stillness is a beautiful thing. Now, something else I want to remind y'all with this energy, speaking of slowing down and speaking of stillness, family, if you are a person who suffers from the winter blues, when the colder weather hits, you start to feel a bit more depressed. This right now with the autumn equinox is a great time to really go within and do what you have to do to combat that depression, right? So let me just be clear. When I stated my intention for this video, I said we was going to discuss the meaning of the autumn equinox, the energy impact, and then identify some practices and tools. This is not going to be like one of my usual videos where I talk about like the new moon or the full moon. I'm going to be sprinkling practices and tools throughout as I'm talking about things, okay? So right now, I want to identify some things that you all can start practicing in order to avoid the winter blues. And for anybody who's not familiar with what the winter blues is, what happens is some folks just naturally kind of fall into a bit of a depressive state as we ease into the colder weather, because the autumn equinox ushers in that energy of stillness and calm, and it starts to slow things down. A lot of folks start feeling depressed. A lot of folks don't do well when they are in reclusion. They don't do well when they are kind of like forced or pushed into introspection. Some folks just kind of bloom during the summer and the spring, and then during the autumn and the winter, they just don't do so well. And it's nothing wrong with that. It's not that you have a problem. A lot of folks are just aligned, in a sense, aligned with nature in that way. But a couple of things that's important to note is that if you are a person who struggles with the winter blues, please be mindful that yes, you are aligned with nature, but why is nature slowing down during this time? Why is nature kind of like being more introspective and pushing us to be more in balance and in harmony and be a bit more reclusive? The reason is it's given us a time to refresh and recharge. Autumn brings that time for us to be able to purge and let things go. The winter brings us that opportunity to refresh and recharge in our most purest form. Okay. So if you find yourself kind of slipping into the winter blues, you find yourself feeling a bit more, depressed and not as joyous as you usually feel, just really ask yourself, what is my intention during this season of my life? And that's really also for everyone, because our intention during this time is really to just purge and release things that are kind of holding us down, weighing us down. Also to be more in balance and to be, more in harmony with the universe, with nature, with God, with the all, right? So for us to do that, we need to be willing to purge and release things and let things go. Okay. So some things that you may want to start doing during this time. Of course, if you are a crystal person, good crystals for this time are things like carnelian, crystals like amethyst, clear quartz, orange calcite is another good crystal, okay? And then for some herbs, especially if you are a person who deals with the winter blues, you struggle with depression or anything like that during this time, a good herb that's going to be important for you to start implementing is St. John wort. Start right now with getting on a daily regimen of St. John wort, okay? If you deal with winter blues at all, you need to start now at this autumn equinox and get on that regimen so it can be, good and flowing, and you can be centered in wellness by the time winter hits, okay? So this is a good mark to really like get started on that herb regimen. Other herbs are good for this time is like cardamom. Cardamom is good for purification. It also increases your ability to be able to astral project and enhances your intuition and things like that. You have cinnamon, which cinnamon is good for meditation. Cinnamon is good for abundance and prosperity. Herbs like star anise are also good during this time, also for purification and cleansing and protection. So there's a variety of different like herbs and crystals that you can utilize right now that'll really help that energy. Another good herb I want to recommend, especially if you're going to incorporate St. John wort, please add sarsaparilla. Sarsaparilla is one of my favorite herbs. I call it an all-in-one healer. It's like antioxidants, it's anti-everything, okay? It's also considered technically in the phytoestrogen family, okay? There's a lot of phytochemicals, also known as plant-based chemicals, phytoestrogens, also known as plant-based estrogen or plant-based hormones, right? So it's good for womb wellness. It really just like takes care of the whole body. So St. John's wort, sarsaparilla, some cinnamon, some cardamom, some star anise, herbs like that are really good during this time. And even like herbs like patchouli oil, patchouli is a good scent to wear during this time because it increases the energy while also giving you the feeling of like calm and balance and peace and all that. Okay. So try to get some of those herbs, get the patchouli oil and start wearing understand that y'all know it's pumpkin spice season. Y'all know it's pumpkin spice season. Okay, so if you can get some pumpkin spice has like nutmeg, it has clove. Clove is good for purification and things like that. I have a whole video on pumpkin spice on my social medias. Okay, but a lot of the herbs that are in pumpkin spice, like the cinnamon, like the clove, like the nutmeg, some of them have cardamom in it. They are all good for intuition, for meditation, for abundance, prosperity work, and things like that. So even if you could just grab a jar or a bottle of pumpkin spice and just use that, that'll be good. And with those herbs, I advise that you drink them. So you make a tea out of them and you drink them. If you want to, you can smudge them like the clove, like the cinnamon and the star anise. You can smudge them. But the St. John's wort, you really need to drink that. Okay. If you want to combat the winter blues and things like that, you really want to drink the St. John's wort. Okay. And just really ensure that you are being intentional with using these herbs, and making sure that you are being very intentional with stating why, what's your purpose, why you are using this, why are you putting this in your body, why you are smudging this. Be mindful of the energy you put out, because that is the energy you will get back. Okay. Now, again, with this autumn equinox energy, it brings us the desire to kind of purge and release and let things go. And the autumn equinox starts tomorrow at 2:50 a.m., September 23rd at 2:50 a.m. And the thing about it is, this desire to purge, this desire to release things, let's really unpack that. Let's unpack that desire to release things. I put a video up in my story on Instagram, and I was talking about, essentially how I love and I value my tribe and my friendships. I'm a person who I've been blessed to have friends from high school still, high school, college friendships that are 15-year plus friendships, But I've also, along my journey, have had to let some people go. I've had to purge. I've had to do a couple purges in my life. And I want to identify the beauty of purging, the power of purging, and how do you know what to purge from your life. This season, this autumn equinox season, it's an important time to kind of take inventory of your life. And as I said, we want to be in gratitude for the abundance. This is like considered the last harvest. It's in alignment with the harvest moon, the harvest full moon. So it's kind of like the last opportunity for us to really just like take a inventory of all of the beautiful things that have happened. But also in your inventory, you have to take notes of the things that are weighing you down, whether that's habits, that's thought patterns, and sometimes it's people. What are the things that are weighing you down in your life, and be willing to kind of purge and release that. We have a full moon coming up on the 29th, which I'll do a separate video about that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let me tell y'all, I was just talking to a friend about this yesterday. I appreciate your energy and thank you. Listen, when you send super chats, YouTube takes half. They take half. They take half. 50%. 50%, they take half. Okay, I appreciate the super chats, but they take half. Like out of this 10, I'll probably see $4. $4. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Is it? Yes. No, I appreciate it. No apologies. I really appreciate it. I appreciate it. But I was baffled by that revelation. Ain't that crazy? Half. Yes, girl. Yes. Out of that 10, I will see probably 4 because they take half plus tax. So I'll probably see $4. Okay. So y'all, if you want to bless me, cash at me. It's in the scroll at the bottom. Okay. I was shocked. Appalled. A nigga named Paul. I was shocked. Okay. But yes, again, when you have the desire to purge, you take inventory, you really assess like, what are the things that are just no longer serving you? What are the things, the thought patterns, the people that are kind of like holding you down in life, and be willing to release it? And I was saying that on the 29th, which I'll do a separate video about, we have a full moon coming up, which will be a great time to release. So between now, the start of the autumn equinox, and the 29th, we have about a week, 7 days, right? So with that in mind, you want to just be mindful about taking this next week of your life to really just do inventory and be in gratitude, be grateful for the blessings that are coming, but also be willing to release the things, the people that are holding you down. And signs that I knew I needed to purge, I needed to let certain people go from my life is when I did inventory. When I did that inventory and I was really asking myself, like, what relationships do I have in my life that are just not well for me? They're not consistently well for me. Because, see, this is the issue with certain relationships, right? The issue with certain relationships in our life, they may be well occasionally, and we want to keep them. We want to hold on to those because they're well occasionally. Occasionally. But in actuality, they're not well consistently. When you review that relationship, there's been breaks in wellness. When you review that relationship, and any relationship has its ebbs and flows, you know, it has its ups and downs and all those things, any relationship. But when you notice that y'all are consistently into it, y'all are more consistently into it and having issues than y'all are in wellness. Most of y'all conversations are problematic as opposed to elevating and uplifting. So when you notice that pattern, it may be time to purge that person. When you notice that when you think of that person, your whole being, holistically, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, your whole being just doesn't feel well, that's a huge sign. That's a huge red flag that it's time for purging. When you notice that as soon as you think of that person, something in you just doesn't feel right. And sometimes it's a physical feeling. Sometimes your stomach feels intense. You get feelings in that solar plexus area. It tightens up. It just doesn't feel well. Sometimes it's mentally where when you say that person's name or you hear their name, the first thoughts that come to your mind are not positive. They are not positive. You know, sometimes it's spiritually where sometimes you may have dreams or moments of intuition, downloads where that person is just not doing right. They're causing you harm. You have to pay attention to all those red flags, right? And you know it's time to purge. It's time to let that person go. And how do you purge people? Now, y'all know I always tell y'all my favorite conversation, my favorite way of purging. I just simply say, we are no longer aligned. We are no longer aligned. That's the way I release relationships. We are no longer aligned. And it's not that I'm right and you're wrong or you're right and I'm wrong. We are just not aligned. We are not in it. We ain't in the same space. We ain't even in the same room. Okay? Fuck a page. We ain't even on the same book. Okay, we ain't even in the same book. We ain't on the same page, the same chapter, the same book. Okay, we are just not aligned. And having that conversation in that way, it kind of, I'm not going to say it ends the possibility of an argument or a debate, but it decreases the possibility of an argument or a debate because somebody cannot refute what is aligned with you. Only you know what is aligned with you. And the thing about purging, the benefits of it, right? So we know how signs that we need to purge somebody or something from our life. We know how to do it. Let's talk about the benefits of it. For me personally, I always knew I made the right decision with letting someone go the moment I let them go and everything in my life starts elevating. Everything in my life starts prospering. Everything. Opportunities start coming. I start feeling better, feeling happier, feeling more joyous. Everything in my life, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, I just am better. I am better. You will be better. You know you made the right decision to purge someone from your life when you are better in all areas of life. And this is the thing about purging someone from your life, right? Yes, you will be better, but it does not mean that you won't have moments of missing them. Yes, you will miss them sometimes because they are a part of your norm, what used to be your norm. So it's almost like you have to create or adjust to a new norm. So, yes, you will miss them sometimes. Yes, you will think of them sometimes. You have to almost kind of get used to them not being in your life anymore, but it's important and it's necessary for you to be able to do. Okay. The reason you have to purge, family, some of us are desiring to elevate. We are desiring to grow. We are desiring to be better. but you're holding on to people, to things, to practices, to thought patterns that are holding you down. It's dead weight. And you cannot elevate when you are being held down by dead weight. And this is why, as soon as you chop that weight off, everything starts to elevate because they was holding you down. It's that concept. Oprah talks about it. She talks about how, when you're climbing the mountain, sometimes you're thinking that there are people who are rooting you on and cheering you on, but really they are on your back and they're weighing you down and they're not doing anything to help you climb this mountain. They're just on your back weighing you down, but then still hoping you get to the top so they can reap the rewards of being at the top. So you have to be mindful of that dead weight, the people who are holding you down, the people who are stopping you from climbing that mountain. Don't be afraid to purge during this season. In the autumn equinox, we are in alignment with nature, where nature starts to purge, nature starts to release. Again, things start to slow down a bit. We get the opportunity to reflect. We get the opportunity to release. Then in the winter, we get the time to recharge, to refresh, to be in complete stillness. We slow down to stillness, to calm, to recharge, refresh, and we bloom again in the spring and the summer, and we grow and we harvest and we reap our rewards. Okay. So that's the beautiful time. Okay, family. I hope I touched on everything. Let me look at my notes. I really wanted to emphasize the value of that balance energy. Again, autumn equinox is the beginning also of Libra season, and Libra is the cardinal air sign. So feeling those desires of leadership, feeling those desires of really a fresh start. Also, don't be surprised if you find yourself having the desire to move or make a major transition in your life during this time. Do not be surprised about that. Again, it's the time where we are desiring to purge, to release, to let go of. And the reason you are feeling this desire to move, to transition, is because you are. And this is a time of preparation. You purge, you release, you let go of, so that you can move, so that you can make that transition. Okay. So it's okay if you feel that desire. And it's not even a yes or no. Like, you shouldn't take the opportunity. You should sit still. If the opportunity comes to move during this season or make a change during this season, definitely do that. Definitely take it, because making that change may be the very thing you need to do in order to elevate, right? In order to help you grow along your journey. So if there's a big change or an opportunity that you have to kind of move, move, transition. If you find yourself having a desire to move and transition, definitely do that. It's Libra season. So that air energy is all about going with the flow, being in movement, being in transition and change. So if you have that desire to do that, definitely do that. Okay. Let me review my notes and make sure I touched on everything. Balance and harmony, the desire to purge, be in gratitude, feeling more personal, more introspective, and less communal. I talked about the herbs, cardamom, cinnamon, star anise, St. John's wort, sarsaparilla. I also mentioned patchouli as well as a good scent to wear during this season, or even diffuse in your home during this season. Okay, also lemongrass as well. Good combinations. Patchouli and lemon is a good combination to diffuse in the home. Okay, so if you have an oil diffuser, get some patchouli oil and some lemon oil. Good combinations to diffuse in the home. Also, drinking lemongrass tea. And because we have the harmony and the balance, that Libra energy between the days and the nights, equal days, equal nights, just be mindful to practice your sun salutations, practice your meditation, things like that, to be able to really absorb as much of this sun energy. And this is the last thing. Okay, I don't have this in my notes, but this is the last thing. I was talking about this with the wellness community, and I cannot emphasize this enough. Family, if you struggle with the winter blues, any type of depression or anything like that as the colder seasons hit, go to the doctor and get your vitamin D levels checked, get your magnesium checked, get your iron checked. I always tell the wellness community this. I've been talking about this even on my IG and stuff like that, about the value of getting a full CBC metabolic panel. You need to go get blood work done, and you don't have to take any medication or allow them to put anything in you, but get the blood work done so that you can get checked to see what's going on. A lot of folks think it's cute, especially my Black women, and I've been there before, where we normalize things like having anemia, right? Like we normalize things like, oh, I love to eat ice. I love to eat ice, you know, or cornstarch and things like that. That is a sign of an iron deficiency. Anemia is often a symptom of other issues in the body, including autoimmune diseases and things like that. Lack of iron, lack of vitamin D and magnesium lead to mental health issues. It slows down the brain cognition. It slows down brain health. It also can cause, because of those mental health issues and the slowing down of the cognition, it causes things like brain fog, fatigue, major depression. Major depression. So you need to ensure that you are getting your vitamin D in, because during the summer and the spring we have, especially during the summer, we have longer days. It's going to be a transition. Yes, the days and the nights will be balanced, but the days are going to feel shorter because they are compared to where we were. So you won't have as much opportunity to absorb that vitamin D from the sun. You need to find other sources of vitamin D. And if you don't want to take the actual vitamin D pills, find other sources of vitamin D, iron, and magnesium. These deficiencies in the body slow down your brain. And I think the reason a lot of folks don't take anemia and things like that serious, a lack of iron and things that serious, is because it's like, oh, it just causes me to eat ice, or it just causes me to feel cold. You are not functioning at your highest possible brain function, babes. Okay, you're not functioning at your highest possible brain function. If nothing else causes you to want to get it together, just think of that. You're moving slow mentally. And you don't have to be, okay? You are mentally slower than what you normally would be if you had your proper iron, vitamin D, and magnesium. If you struggle with the winter blues, you are likely vitamin D and iron deficient. You need to go get that checked. So yes, take your St. John's wort. Yes, get your sarsaparilla. Things like ginkgo biloba are also good. Gotu kola are also good. There are a variety of different herbs that are good for brain health and enhancing the cognitive abilities, right? Definitely go get your vitamin D and your iron as well as your magnesium checked. Okay, you need those minerals and supplements and vitamins in order to ensure that you are functioning at your fullest possible cognitive wellness. Okay, you want to be thinking clearly. A lot of folks who feel like they are struggling with mental clarity, listen. Okay, this is a big cause of the lack of mental clarity. Okay, so I cannot say that enough. Go take your ass to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Get some blood work, go get checked. And especially if you have melanin in your skin. A lot of folks, oh, we have melanin in our skin. This misconception, because it is a misconception, that we are naturally protected from the sun. That also means that we don't absorb as much vitamin D as needed. So a lot of melanated people are walking around here vitamin deficient and don't know it. Okay, so we have to get our vitamin D in, family, so that we can ensure that we are at our full functioning. Okay, so I just really wanted to add that before we end. And again, the herbs I listed was the Gotu kola, the ginkgo, and then also the St. John's wort, and it helps improve that mental health and get you some sarsaparilla. That's an all-in-one healer. Okay, family, I love y'all. I think I touched on everything. I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. Wellness community, we have our book club meeting on Saturday, tomorrow. Okay, so I'll see y'all at the book club meeting, and much love, everybody. I'll see everybody else on the YouTube for my full moon video. That'll probably be the next video. Okay, love y'all. Peace. Happy autumn equinox, y'all.